Hi guys, today I'm here to do my top 10 of 2015, and I have my, well, actually 9 books here and then an ebook, but I am not going to spend a ton of time on each book. I'm just going to tell you basically why I loved the book, and then I will link in the description the Goodreads link so that you can check it out, and if you want to add it to your TBR or something. Most of these you guys have probably heard of. They're pretty well known. But yeah, I'm just going to jump right into it. So I'm actually supposed to be leaving for a wedding. My best friend's getting married, so I might also kind of go a little quickly because of that. But yeah, so anyways, the first book is Outlander, and I just got this beauty from Barnes & Noble. It's signed and just beautiful. Finally picked this up. It's a little bit big. I kind of was scared, but it was fantastic. I loved the setting, Scotland. I don't read that many books in Scotland, and that was really fun. Just the time periods and the traveling, just the adventure of this book. The romance was amazing. I really just loved it. It's my first book by this author, but I have the rest of the series, or at least most of the series. So I would love to finish, continue soon. There's a lot of violence in this. It just really, this author knows how to make you emotional, I would say, because I was very emotional throughout this entire book. But it was just really well written, I would say, and highly recommend it. Then I have Library of Souls by Ransom, and I finished this trilogy this year. I think I also read Hollow City this year. Yeah. But this was fantastic. I think these actually got better as they went on, and I just thought it was fantastic. Any book with superhero type power stuff, I love. And these peculiar kids, can never say that, are just so unique and interesting. And I would love to read more by him someday, so I'm really excited for what he puts out next. And I'm also really excited for the first movie that's coming out soon. It's going to be really good. Also, my next book that I have here is a series that I have already started and that I just finished this year, and that was the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams-Chima. And I thought this was so unique. It's fantasy, but the way they use magic with the amulets, and it was just so good. It was really, really good. But I think she's actually writing more, so I'm so excited for that. But if you guys like fantasy, I don't feel like this is as popular on BookTube as some other fantasy series. But this is really, really well done. It's, I believe, young adult, but for young adult, it's really good fantasy. I actually have a lot of fantasy down here, but that's my favorite genre, so it makes sense. I read the Bloodlines series this year by Rochelle Mead. Last year, I was obsessed with the Vampire Academy series, and this year it was this series. And the Vampire Academy series had mostly, you guessed it, vampires. This one has the vampires, but it's more focused on the alchemists and witches. So it was very different, but it was still amazing. And her characters are really great, I think, and I really would love to actually reread these soon. But there were some points in the series where I would not get bored, but I did find that a little bit, and what book was that I was having trouble with? There was one of them this year that I just kept stopping, and it wasn't really bad. I just kind of kept getting in book slumps, reading slumps, whatever. It's still an amazing series and one of my favorites, and fantastic. You should read them. Then I read a book that I've wanted to for a really long time. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I want to do that, and that's The Book Thief by Markus, Zusak. And this book was so just powerful and moving, and it was just really, really good. It's actually narrated by Death, if you haven't read this, and so that had a really unique twist on the entire book. But just these characters were great, but it's just they went through such heartbreaking, just these terrible hardships, and you just really feel for them. It was very emotional, and I wish I had read this sooner because it was so good, but I'm very happy that I finally read this one. It was fantastic. One of my most anticipated reads of the year is Winter. I finished this series this year, and of course it was 5 stars. I am just so obsessed with these characters and these amazing fairy tale retellings that Marissa Meyer has done, and I've never read anything like it. The sci-fi is incredible, and it was just literally everything that I wanted to happen happened in this book, and just everything about it. I was so happy we got more of Winter. I mean, it's her own book, but I mean, before we'd like heard about her, and I was so intrigued by her, and just the romances were so good, and the ending, it was just, read this series if you like anything to do with like fairy tale retellings, because it's just incredible. Then I have Queen of Shadows, and I have like a 30-minute book discussion with spoilers, so if you want to watch that, I'll link it below. But this book, it was also like everything that I wanted to happen. This isn't the final book like Winter, but it was everything I wanted to happen at the end of Air of Fire did. And I just cried. I was so happy, and also sad. I mean, there's lots of terrible things that happened in this as well. But the twist at the end, I'm so ready for the next one. It's like my most anticipated, I'd say. This book and her other book, which I just threw on the floor, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh, man. I thought that she definitely couldn't do it again, and that this book would probably be like pretty mediocre, and I'd feel bad because I love her other series, but this one's not very good. But no, it was so good. I love Beauty and the Beast, and this has hints of that, but it's definitely its own story. It has Fae, and the Fae are in her Throne of Glass series, and I'm just so obsessed with them, and I just love them so much. But this just has a bunch of new amazing characters, so if you love that series, check this one out. But I'm obsessed, and I can't wait. I cannot wait for the next one. It's gonna be crazy. And that only leaves, let's see, Ready Player One. Could not think of the name of it. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline was one of the most unique books I've read. Like, I just have never really read that much about a book about video games and stuff, but it was incredible, and I'm so excited for the movie to come out. I thought it was just like, I loved all the like 80s references and the shows and the movies. Just the adventure was awesome. And in my head, as I was reading it, I was just picturing it as like this awesome movie. So I'm really excited to see how that adaptation goes, but it was really, really cool. It was just a really cool book. And then we finished this out with I'll Give You the Sun by Janie Nelson, which was for sure my favorite contemporary, probably like my favorite like of the top 3 or 4 of the year. But everything about this book, the writing style, it was so poetic at parts, and the art in this is such a big part, and I love that. The romance in this is incredible, but that's not the only thing. Like, the romance is to die for, but the main thing is the sibling relationship that this is told between 2 twins. And at one point, one twin is talking about when they were younger, and then the other twin talks about like, it's like present day. And it's so heartbreaking to read about how like they were when they were like so young, and then to hear how they are now. I just felt like these characters were so real, and I just cried. I sobbed and I sobbed. And this book was incredible. I'm going to recommend this to like everybody I know. And it was, like I said, the best contemporary book that I've read this year. I'm definitely wanting to read more by her because her writing was phenomenal. But yeah, so those are my 10 books. You guys should let me know if you read these books, if you also loved them, if they were on your list. If not, then you should let me know what your favorites were. You don't have to list like all 10 if you don't want to, but maybe like your top like 3 or something. But yeah, I think this was just a great year. I didn't read as much as like some of my other years here on BookTube, but I read so many great books, and I'm so excited about like it all. I'm so excited about next year in 2016, and I just think it's going to be a really great year. So thanks for sticking with me, guys, and watching and commenting and everything, and it means a lot. And I'm really just excited to see what the next year brings. So I'm going to go because I need to be packing for this wedding, but I will see you guys very soon. Bye!